Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if it's the first time you're visiting. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've not guessed by the title, today I'm going to be doing my first impressions of new fragrances. And wow, there has been a lot of new fragrances so far in 2023. I think this is my third video now covering new fragrance launches. But I know that you want to see these new launches and my first impressions just from reading the comments. So if you like the sound of that, then please do keep on watching. So great timing, a new fragrance just came through the letterbox and my partner interrupted this video to give me a parcel, and it is the newest release from Teo Cabanel, which is called Deja Vu. And I don't know much about this fragrance yet, so let me read you the notes with you live. Top notes are bubblegum, citron and raspberry. Middle notes are iris, jasmine and orange blossom. And base notes are leather accord and white musk. Interesting. Bubblegum. There's a little bit of a picture here. Let me give you a close up. So it came with this cute little wristband that says Deja Vu on it. And then the sample comes in this little packet. You can see I've not even opened it yet. And a little test strip. So let's do this live together. I'm just going to open up the sample. So this was not part of today's video. Of course, it just arrived. So this is a little bit off the cuff, but let's sample it. So I'm just going to spray it here on the test strip. Don't know what to expect. Okay, instant first reaction is it does smell like bubblegum. Not fully bubblegum though, I will say that. It's definitely got some florals in here. I am getting the raspberry. It's almost like a raspberry bubblegum with a little bit of zesty sweet lemon. There's a definite iris note popping through, so you're getting that kind of powdery, dusty floral. It smells a little bit like those dried florals, you know, that you have around your house, potpourri, I think it's called. I'm very curious how this would smell on the skin. It's a very young and fun fragrance, spring, summer appropriate. Adult bubblegum, if that is really a thing. Curious to see if the leather starts to come in the dry down. First impressions, it does smell pink. It smells like bubblegum. It's not an instant love, but it's an interesting new release. I'm probably going to have to revisit this one, but this is Deja Vu by Teo Cabanel. Thank you so much, Teo Cabanel, for sending the sample through. Yeah, good timing to be featured in this first impressions of new fragrances. I'll have to play around with this one a little bit more. So the next house that is launching new fragrances is the House of Oud, and I have the three of them here, and I discovered these at Essence in Milan, and they are releasing 3 new fragrances. I will pop the official bottles on the screen. And if you know the House of Oud, they normally come in these beautiful kind of marble design bottles, but the new packaging is actually a printed design with illustrations on them. And the 3 new fragrances are, we've got Bonbon Pop, we've got Gambling, and we've got Wabsabi, which I'm trying to hold up here. And I remember loving Wabsabi when I tried it in store, or in person. It wasn't in store, it was at Essence. So I'm going to spray this on the card. I really love this one. Okay, let me read you the notes. So it says head notes are wasabi, bergamot, pink pepper, lime leaves and pear. The heart notes are Turkish rose, jasmine, ylang ylang, geranium and elemi. And the dry down is vanilla, cinnamon peel and musk. And I have to say, Wabsabi was a love at first sniff for me. It's a spicy floral. It doesn't smell like wasabi, so please don't let that put you off, but it does have a spicy kick to it. And then it's sweet, almost like candy. And then you get all of the beautiful creamy florals. I love the ylang ylang. I love the geranium, the jasmine. Oh, it's so gorgeous. I can't wait to wear this one on my skin properly. I haven't tested it on my skin yet. This is a first impressions only. But I have to say, I love this new release from the House of Oud on a first impressions. So that one is Wabsabi, and the bottle is probably my favorite out of the 3 new fragrances. It's called the Crazy Collection, and you kind of get that vibe from the bottles. So let me talk about the next one. Let's go to Gambling. I'm just going to pop this one down. So let's go to Gambling. And this one, I'm going to spray it first. I can't remember what this one smelled like. Okay, this was my least favorite out of the 3 new launches. So let me quickly read you the notes. The head notes are whiskey accord. You absolutely get the whiskey in the opening. It's probably why I don't really like it, because I'm not a whiskey drinker. Adrenaline, I'm not sure what adrenaline smells like. Bergamot, Szechuan pepper, coffee. Heart notes are lentisco, I'm not sure what that is. Cypress, galbanum, elemi. Dry down is vetiver, cedarwood, gaiac wood, ambret seeds, benzoin, and amyris. It's definitely woody and boozy. There's something a little bit unusual going on here. I would say this is a little bit more masculine leaning to my nose. The whiskey is super, super prominent, like it's smelling like a straight up whiskey to me. But on a first impressions, Gambling isn't really for me. But if you like a boozy fragrance, you like the smell of whiskey, I'm not sure what adrenaline smells like. You are getting the woodiness, you're getting the vetiver, you're getting the cypress and the galbanum. It's just not really for me, unfortunately. So that one is Gambling. And then the last one, which I remember liking, is Bonbon Pop. So I'm going to spray this one too. Oh, I can smell it in the air. It's beautiful. Oh. Okay. Oh, is Wabsabi my favorite or Bonbon Pop? This one is a really, really sweet gourmand. Oh. Just need to take a moment for this one. Okay, I'm going to read you the notes. Head notes are bergamot, white peach, and coconut. Heart notes are jasmine and patchouli. And the dry down notes are brown sugar, precious woods, dry amber, and musk. And it says it's a funny gourmand. Maybe that could translate to fun gourmand, which I can see. Very, very sweet. You're absolutely getting that brown sugar, like a brown sugar vanilla. And then lots of sweetness in the opening. I'm getting that peach. I'm getting that coconut. I'm definitely getting bergamot. I'm getting a little bit of patchouli. This is almost a teeny bit reminiscent of Chiale's Vanilla Royale, but this one is sweeter, but I'm getting that same DNA. And obviously there's that burnt sugar or that brown sugar accord in the Chiale, and there's also the patchouli, which might be why I'm smelling a kind of similar DNA. But this one is a little bit more sweet and fun. Really good release. I'm excited for these to launch. I am not sure which one I prefer out of Bonbon Pop and Wabsabi. They are very different. Oh, I don't know. They're both really good, but I'm excited about these new releases from the House of Oud. It's fun that they're coming out with illustrated bottles now. The Wabsabi bottle is absolutely exquisite in my opinion. And Bonbon Pop looks like a bit of a hot air balloon on the illustration. I'm not sure if it is actually meant to be that way. Anyway, I've stuck on the House of Oud probably for far too long, but these are some exciting new releases. Gambling isn't really for me, but if you like a boozy fragrance, as I mentioned, then maybe you might want to check that one out. Okay, so the next two fragrances that I want to discuss with you are from Soradora. And if you watch my channel, you probably know that I love Soradora as a brand, and they have two new releases coming out this year. But this time they are going to be in white packaging. So this beautiful frosted white glass with white marble caps. And there's two launches. One is called Mallow and one is called Jany. I think that's how it's pronounced. And I mentioned Mallow in a new fragrances coming out video, but at the time I wasn't really sure what the notes were. And I have smelt both of these releases at Essence, and let me tell you that I love both of them. I can't wait for Jany to come out. However, I've been told it's not launching until later this year, but it is the most gorgeous fall and winter gourmand. It's a little bit spicy. It smells like apple pie. And you're probably thinking, Hayley, that maybe sounds a little bit like Angel Share, but they're very different. It really does have this beautiful kind of cinnamon spiced apple pie accord. It's very gourmand, it's very sweet. I would wear it all year round. Now, whilst I don't have the official notes of Jany, that is how I perceive it. When I do know more, I'm happy to share a full-on review with you. But if you like the sound of a beautiful spicy gourmand that's sweet, a little bit apple pie reminiscent, then Jany might be one for you to look out for in the future. And then the one that is releasing a little bit sooner is Mallow. And Mallow is more of a fruity floral, a little bit vanillic too, with some musks in there. And the name Mallow, when I first heard it, I assumed it was going to be a marshmallow scent, but that is not how I perceive it at all. It's more of a fruity kind of pink pepper, raspberry, a little bit of musk, a little bit of vanilla. So I do actually have the full note breakdown of Mallow, so let me just read them from my phone. It has pink pepper, smooth strawberry, sugar vanilla, which becomes more crystallized sugar after a few minutes in the wear. This is just from the notes that I'm reading. Orange blossom, heliotrope, mystical notes, violet, and musk. And does that not sound gorgeous? I mean, pink pepper, smooth strawberry. I do perceive a raspberry note when I'm smelling this one. Sugar vanilla, yum, yum, yum. Heliotrope, giving that kind of musky appearance. And mystical notes. The mystical notes, I think it's interesting. Again, I did not get to try this on my skin at Essence. Obviously, I sampled maybe 200 fragrances per day when I was at the exhibition, but I really did love Mallow. I can't wait to get an official sample so I can test it on my skin and give you a full review. But I am very excited for the two new Soradora releases. And if you like Soradora as a brand, or even if you don't, then I highly recommend you check out these two releases when they launch. So Tom Ford has brought out a new fragrance, and this one had a lot less hype around it than the other Tom Fords, and it is called Soleil de Feu. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and it's in the beautiful white bottle, and it has like a bronzy gold plaque on the front. And this one, I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy it because it has a note of tuberose in here. However, I will say the tuberose doesn't necessarily pull like a traditional tuberose, and what you get is a more woody, it's definitely got lots of sandalwood. I did write some notes down, so let me quickly have a look at what I wrote. Yeah, I said the tuberose wasn't cloying. I didn't really perceive it as a tuberose note, more of a white floral note. It has lots of vanilla in there, but it's not a super sweet vanilla. You're getting spices, maybe pepper. I'm definitely getting a woody accords going throughout the fragrance. I think I mostly pick out a sandalwood note. It's very creamy, very delicious. Now it does have a slightly tropical nuance to it, but it is more of a woody, sensual fragrance, unlike the other fragrances from the collection, which some of them pull more beachy, in my opinion. The notes listed on Fragrantica are sandalwood, tuberose, benzoin, and amber. And I do get a slight coconut feel to it. Very slight, but it's more like fleshy, woody coconut, if that makes any sense. I do quite like it, and I'm not a massive fan of the white collection. I do like Soleil Blanc, but it's not a love for me. So I will say Soleil de Feu is nice. Will I be buying it? Probably not. It's not a fragrance that I will reach for a lot, but I do think it's a nice new launch from Tom Ford, and in my opinion, better than the two new cherry fragrances. So Yeah. Would you like to see a review on this one? Are you interested in it? Please let me know down in the comments. There are two new fragrances launching from Unui Nomad, which I'm really excited about. Sugar Leather will launch first, and this one gave me an out loud reaction when I sampled it. Was absolutely love at first sniff. When I saw the name Sugar Leather, I wasn't sure what it was going to smell like because I didn't want a full-blown leather fragrance. Well, let me tell you, this is a gourmand leather. It's very sugary, as the name suggests. It smells like it has a slightly boozy aspect to it, a little bit of almond, it has patchouli in the base, but lots of sugar, lots of vanilla. The leather isn't necessarily front stage and center until the dry down. I don't want to say too much yet until I try it on the skin and give it a full review, but my first impressions were really, really good and I can't wait to review it for you. And then the second fragrance from Unui Nomad is called Love at First Sight. And this is a very, very beautiful South African fragrance. I believe that was the correct location. Very realistic florals. What I got front stage and center is the lilac note, and I don't think I have many fragrances with a prominent lilac note in my collection, and it was so gorgeous. It smelled very realistic, like I was out in nature surrounded by beautiful lilac trees or bushes. Absolutely incredible. I think it would make a really good bridal scent. It's perfect for spring and summer. Very elegant and very feminine. But like I said, I will review them properly when I get them in my hands. There is a new fragrance launching from Jacques Fath, and it is Jasmine de Tosca. I think that is what it is called. Again, I sampled this whilst I was in Milan. Upon your suggestion, actually, a few people asked me to hunt this one down. And it is super beautiful jasmine, but it's a sweet jasmine, not cloying in any way. There's a grapefruit note up top, which gives it a sharpness, but also a sweetness. And then I believe there's freesia in there too. I'm just gonna grab up the notes on my phone quickly. So the top notes are grapefruit, freesia, petitgrain. Middle notes are Indian jasmine, jasmine sambac, and Italian jasmine. And base notes are benzoin and hazelnut, and I absolutely loved this upon first sniff. Now, I didn't sample this one on the skin, but I really loved it upon first sniff. It was absolutely one of the best jasmine fragrances that I've smelt in a long time. I loved the sweetness, I loved the hazelnut in the base, the grapefruit up top. It was a bit of a unique take on jasmine while still being quite classic. So when it comes out, I will try get a proper sample of it so I can do a full wear test. But beautiful new release from Jacques Fath, and hopefully I will pick it up when it launches. One of the absolute best fragrances that I sampled at Essence, it's not quite out yet, but it was a love at first sniff, and it's by Rosendo Mateo, and it is called 1970, and it's in this beautiful art deco bottle, and it is a chocolate gourmand fragrance. And I was actually with Gabby at the time when I sniffed this from Gabby Loves Perfumes. I'm sure you know her on YouTube, and we both had an instant reaction when we smelled this fragrance. We were just like, oh, chocolate. But it was like a tonka bean chocolate. It was sweet. Oh, so delicious. Let me read you the official notes. Top notes are citruses and fruits, and I must say I didn't get a lot of citrus when I smelt it. Middle notes are chocolate, spices, woody notes, and earthy notes, and then the base notes are vanilla, tonka bean, amber, and musk. And how I perceived it was more of a tonka bean chocolate. It wasn't a dark chocolate, it was more of a milk chocolate. And then you were getting lots of vanilla pour through. I'm not sure I got the earthy notes. I think there was a little bit of musk and a little bit of amber, but it really was a gourmand tonka bean, chocolate, vanilla explosion. Really excited to try this one when it comes out. I will absolutely be buying a bottle of it, but one of my favorite discoveries at Essence for sure. And as well as 1970 from Rosendo Mateo, there are 3 other new fragrances within the collection. I sampled them all, but 1970 stood out the most to me. I hope you enjoyed this video. I could have spoken about a lot more new releases. However, I was quite conscious that I didn't want you to get bored and didn't want to speak about too many fragrances, but please do let me know if you do want to see a part 2, because I will be happy to do that. I love speaking about new releases and my first impressions. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please do let me know if anything stood out to you in this video. Is there anything that you want to try? I'd love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. I hope to see you all in a video to come. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a wonderful day and goodbye.